It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent his messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose. But by them understanding through those who have become Messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque, and in the same church, in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness, by giving, will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees, that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look through our soul, we see nothing but we star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. To be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and in the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Welcome everyone to the 38th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace. It's Tuesday, May 15th, 2018. I'm your host, Rick Crammon, today. And once again, we'll have Caroline Keshe from the Keshe Foundation being with us to guide us through today's teaching. And I believe she is ready to go in the background here. Caroline, is that true? Are you there?
Yes. Good evening, Rick. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our platform. I hope you have all your bowls of coffee and pots of teas ready for tonight or this afternoon or this morning tea. Is yours ready, Rick?
Just in the nick of time, yep.
Yeah, in the nick of time, yes. We are to work more and more on the platform of the world peace. I know we're going to need some time to warm up. So I received the link. I have spread it on Facebook and in Messenger for as far as I could, with a link. I don't know if Flint, I sent him a copy. He can put it in the chat. And Vince can maybe then put it in the other platforms, and Rick as well. This gives you a complete overview of all what has been done in the Blueprint for Peace. So everybody can go and search through all those different links of all those days we have worked together to find more information or to listen again to what really has happened. People can take screenshots and disperse the links to so many other sites because people are crying, they are walking, they are aware that the change has to be there. Nobody wants this kind of situation of stress anymore. We are not linked to politics. We are not linked to whatever is happening in so many ways, but we are as souls connected. And we need to find the tools which we can use and where we can use and how to come in the open with it. I brought the topic up last week because as more and more people are getting hot-headed, as we say, we can calm the people down. We are their safe haven. We don't run after what they're displaying and what they're covering and what they're doing. That's okay. Because through the process of what Mr. Keshe has brought in the teachings, and last week I sent a piece out and I said, read the last few lines. Because I said once before, but I don't know if it was on a public platform or it was in a private, that it is written in the books, what we call the holy books. You can find the traces, what is about to come and what is about to reveal and what is about or is happening. It is in black and white. And I uttered this question maybe 2 weeks before I bumped into this line. And the beauty sits within that few last lines, that the souls will find a safe haven. They will be guided. And Mr. Keshe always talks on soul level. He not many times is referring to physicality. So knowledge seekers are, in fact, the first people of the understanding how to work through the soul level, how to gather souls into a safe haven. They know when they come close to us that we provide them with, we provide them with kindness, we provide them with support for their physicality, that they can stand or they can reverse illnesses or that they can receive what they're short of, to balance, that they can work more through their physicality so that they can balance their environment. Because as we all have understood, the soul is the operator. The physicality is the one which is manifesting it in the matter state. But if you are so confused and so agitated, it's very difficult to be able to create that more balance, that more understanding. We explained on so many different levels how this disturbance is happening. It happens that people have to work 3-4 shifts to be able to put bread on the table. They have bills to pay. The society, the environment is not so just, not even in their justice system. People are suffering from illness. They are forced to receive medication where, in fact, they know, but they don't know anywhere else to go. These are all very different stress factors which we have really brought onto our topic in public platforms. There are war situations where people need to flee, they are refugees, they are stranded, they do not know where the next meal is going to come from. There are so many stress points, but we knowledge seekers know that we can reverse all these conditions as long as we give and we teach, so that we can make them to understand that there is a change. The biggest platform which is now has come up on the play in the last 2-3 weeks is what is going on the political level. It creates a lot of disturbance, but that's the time when you have to put your information out to make sure people can read. And by us creating that, we attract them to bump into the reality. They can bump into a knowledge seeker. They can bump into one of the teachings. They can bump into one of your peace letters. They can bump into one of the public teachings on YouTube. They might bump in because you create that attraction point for the souls which are searching. So you become that magnet, that your desire is so strong to reach so many that they come on your path because you create the condition. And this is something a lot of people don't know how it works, but it is very simple. If your desire is there, it doesn't matter in what field strength. You're a doctor, or you're interested in medical, or you're interested in the plant world, or agriculture, or other ways of beings which are around us, or you're more into peace field. When your desire is so high and you work with that intent, people start walking into your front door because you got to be that magnet. But you can only create that magnet by increasing your field strength of your intent. So I try to send wherever I can these links. Now I have all of them, so people can start bumping in. One will be curious. If it's not today, it might be tomorrow. Maybe he doesn't need it today. Maybe he doesn't need it next week. But down the line, the information is out. You know, it's like a bait you put out. Somewhere it will bump into the person which is on the search, which is in need of that. So I hope you all will work with the blueprint of peace, open it up, inform people, bring it into your classes, share it among other knowledge seekers, because I think that's more important with what is going on the world platform, to make people, the souls, aware there is already an agreement achieved because we took the responsibility for it. And how can you be not more proud that you have been part of this signing of this peace treaty? It should be standing like a billboard everywhere. Has anybody been working since last week with the initiatives of this blueprint of peace or the World Peace Treaty signed, sent out? Can you come and maybe share your story, how you have brought it into more or a different public platform so we can learn from you where in different places we can go to do it? or ideas, because it will all spark us off to reach as many as we can worldwide, because we are from everywhere today working to get this known outside. Does anybody wants to come and share? It's going to be silent again.
It's tough, isn't it? Well, let me just throw a bone out there for people. I noticed in the news this week that there's been a huge change, actually, in the situation in North Korea, which looked pretty dire a couple of weeks ago, and it was only a few short weeks ago that these world leaders were hurling insults at each other, and now they're throwing compliments at each other. Trump and the leader of North Korea are now agreeing to, North Korea has just destroyed its complete nuclear test site, and they're in the progress of fully destroying it, and that'll be exposed to the media for them to see that this is what's going on. And they've agreed to give up their, they haven't totally agreed yet, but that's part of the deal, to denuclearize the entire Korean peninsula. So this is relatively big news, I would think. You don't see it spread across the news very much, but yet it's there. So this is quite interesting. And on the other hand, we see a lot of belligerent language toward Iran right now. And but to me, there's much hope because of this sudden turnaround with North Korea. It seems like that could very well happen with Iran as well. So perhaps we have some good evidence for a better outcome, let's say, than one might expect from such characters, let's say. Did that spark anybody for anything, or no good? Shall we try again? Any comments? I remind people, the attendees here can put up their hand and I can promote you to panelist, and the panelists can speak by opening your microphone, or if you like, you can put up your hand as well. And we can take questions from the live stream and other social media sources. Or we could have 5 minutes of total silence. Wouldn't that be lovely? Just teasing. Do I still have an audience?
Everyone.
It's awful quiet. Wait a minute. I think I hear the voice of Gatua in the background. Is that true?
Yes, it is. Hello,
Hi,
how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. I wanted to comment on the Iran agreement. I believe that Iran is doing very well in terms of getting there were 5+1 who signed, so the 5 are behind. It's only the US that has pulled out, and Zarif, who is an Iranian foreign minister or foreign representative, is making headways with other world leaders that signed, Russia and China and some of the European countries. They are behind keeping the deal, Iran deal. So it looks increasingly the US will be isolated. About North Korea, I sense that what is happening is I accept it's very good to have peace, but I sense that the US president may be wanting to show that he's making progress in North Korea at the expense of the Iranian deal. That's the way I read it. Thank you very much. That's what I have to say.
Thank you, Gatwa. Does anybody have any questions? Maybe it might make it easier to start.
I thought I broke the silence for good, but
oh
continue.
no. We have this always the first hour and a half. It's as we say, it's a slow cooking process. We have no problem with it because it's something we are used to. So we warm up the public very slowly for them to know that they don't need to hesitate. They can ask questions if they don't, or they're bothered with something, or they want to know something more. Just ask even questions. It's fine. How do they feel about what can be done? Everything is going in a peaceful way, and we see huge changes, a lot of changes. The only one which is sticking out is what has happened in Gaza, that's all. And maybe we should and could have a minute of silence for the victims of Palestine. I think 59 people lost their life and a lot have been injured.
Yes, I totally agree. Let's have a minute of silence for that, or a minute of, we can offer our I am present during that minute, perhaps.
Yes.
I am present with that.
I am present.
Expression that you just made. Thank you, Carol.
I am present.
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 Okay, perhaps we can, perhaps I can read just a couple of statements in the chat. From Jalal, he says, I wish that the world community will become aware and come out of its silence, recognizing the truth of the Palestinian genocide for 3 generations by the Israeli army, and that the Palestinian people deserve to have their territory and finally live free and at peace like human beings. I hope that finally the children of peace are born in this part of the globe. And I believe it's from Jamila. I wish that the souls of the Israeli soldiers become aware of what they're doing to other souls, and that they lay down their arms and embrace peace. Jamila, I am present. Now, in that regard, I noticed that in the news, there is a laying down of arms. The, the live stream audio wasn't on there when I read that last. I think I should read that again for the live stream. I'm sorry, the microphone was not on there. It's from Jalal. He had a statement. I wish that the world community will become aware and come out of its silence, recognizing the truth of the Palestinian genocide for 3 generations by the Israeli army, and that the Palestinian people deserve to have their territory and finally live free and at peace like human beings. I hope that finally the children of peace are born in this part of the globe. And from Jamila, it was, I wish that the souls of the Israeli soldiers become aware of what they're doing to other souls, and that they lay down their arms and embrace peace. Now, I was going to mention that in that regard, there's arms manufacturers in the US that are going bankrupt, actually. And people are buying less guns under President Trump. Somehow they feel secure in their weapons, so they're not buying guns. And it's a strange turnaround. So these companies, such as, well, I won't name them, but they're going bankrupt. And now the banks have promised to support them only this one last time. They are not going to be lending money toward at least some, if not all, of these arms manufacturers. So this is a new attitude from the banks because of the shareholders, and they're under pressure from different sources to, back off on the arms supporting arms. So I think this is big news, and I think that if we can de-arm ourselves just because it's more economical to do so, maybe that's the big reason that we'll have to convince the world to lay down arms. It's no longer economically feasible. I don't know, but I'm happy to report that that seems to be the case, that it's no longer considered a good investment to invest in weapons, or at least some aspects of that.
We are in a time of a lot of changes. I cannot remember seeing so many things on the move on world platform. Although we still have to read between the lines, but there is so much moving. And I think you're all aware of that, and you're all taking notice of it. We also feel that there is so much change. And it doesn't leave nobody untouched. But the beauty is that we know that we can reach out through our soul, that we are not helpless. I think that's one of the most beautiful things that we have gained from all this knowledge. That it doesn't mean anymore that you're sitting behind your desk or in your house or in your chair and you hear what's going on, the difference now is that you can reach out. You can make that bridge to so many. As before, you felt, or most of us, I think, we're feeling so helpless and so lost because you see the news popping up with suffering. And then you say, what can I do? Where can I make that change? And then you think, I'm just a drop on a hot plate. It will vapor before I even move my finger. And that has been in position for a very, very long time. That helplessness feeling, and it's no longer there. And that's the change. You are so powerful that you know, in the understanding what has been brought on the table, if you work through your soul, you are already changing. You reach. And if a lot of knowledge seekers pardon, can acknowledge that they can make that difference, the changes will come even more rapid. It's no longer wishing or wishful thinking, but it's literally staying where you are and be that difference for so many. We never had this. I still remember when I was a child, when we were debriefed in the school about Africa and about their suffering, and that there was water shortage and food shortage and whatever that they could show that was suffering. I always felt so helpless because I knew with just putting a few euros or a few Belgian francs at that time in a pot to collect the money to support those children was not really going to make the difference for the whole of Africa. It was just like that very helpless feeling of, then you got the feedback, they have received one water well, or they have received that much humanitarian support because it was going through a certain organization, and so many children received books, or so much healthcare was received, but it was always so small. And the feeling was never there that you made that difference by adding that few. It was never there. I hope that the knowledge seekers have become in understanding that the money doesn't even matter. The organizations don't even matter. It matters who you are in the understanding of what you are and how powerful you are, that you already changed those conditions. I still remember the first response of Dr. Rodriguez when he said, now for the first time in my life, I feel I am a doctor. I got the tools to make that difference. And he has brought that difference. But in the same way, each knowledge seeker has received the same tools of that big difference, that big impact. We are no longer helpless. We don't need to feel guilty. We don't need to go into any suffering but stand proud that we have the tools and apply them. And that's where we are seeing the feedback which Rick gave, which Dr. Gatwa just, and all of you, if you just here and there, now and then follow the news, you see where it starts popping up. They're coming more on the table to talk. They're willing to move from one country to another, to sit down, to see where they can solve their differences, where they can meet one another. In Armenia, they have changed the government in a peaceful way. There are so many changes that are going on in a peaceful way. But don't forget you're part of it. Acknowledge that now you got the tools, no longer the fear or the helplessness that you can't. I still remember Mr. Keshe saying, you can. And I still remember Dr. Gatwa asking, what is the exact meaning of I can, you can? I just explained it to you. No longer feeling helplessness, no longer feeling that you cannot reach and you can't bring the change. Because I repeat the same wording of Mr. Keshe, you can. You got the understanding, you got the strength, and you can do. But it's up to us to make sure you don't let your strength to go down with what in certain places is still going on. Don't go into despair. Never let that feeling from that, what was that feeling of helplessness, creep up on any of you. Because then your strength goes down. Stand proud what we have all achieved so far. And Mr. Keshe makes sure he explains we did it all together. And the family is growing in strength, and the family is growing in knowledge, and the family is knowing and growing in direction of applying. Have you noticed how many knowledge seekers have started pouring more and more knowledge on Facebook? Their videos are coming up, their teachings are coming up, they're inviting, they're sharing, they're teaching. They're proud to be part of such a beautiful family. Does anybody have any questions about or can share that, or if they still are struggling with that helplessness kind of feeling, or is it gone for you too? Or do you want to know more?
Stella has her hand up. Maybe she has something to say about that.
Yes.
Go ahead, Stella.
Hello, good morning, everybody. I just want to say thank you, Caroline. I think it was a week ago we all communicated from the soul and feeling peace so we could transmit that through the fields to the areas where they need peace. And I think that was one of the most valuable exercises. And I've been applying it in every day, because that's part of my issue, to be in peace and not to react. And I think that's the way, the better you elevate yourself, you're helping others. And I know this improved my life. So it's a little, I live far away, so, and I went back to work. I'm working and I'm following the classes. For me, that's a big deal. Physically, I'm feeling better. I can work, so it's really good for me, because I'm freeing myself. At the same time, I do what I'm supposed to do to keep the balance in the family, you know. So I'm happy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Stella. Is there anybody else who would like to say something?
Yes, me, Christian. For me, there is two sides. The one side is I felt some time ago I have to clean up myself, and I did so, and I'm very happy with that. So I feel very good, and everything is fine. But what surrounds me is still in a big contrast to how I feel and what I am. And I try to get a meeting point there. I try to change something, but it seems like a big block, and it is not moving what is around me. So there's two sides for me.
Okay, maybe you could explain that a little bit more, Christian. Two sides. So could you just explain that out a bit more?
Yes. One side is what I can do, what I can give, what I can change. I'm doing everything I can, and I love to do it, and I get even more strength doing so, and more light around me. And I found special things I was practicing, and it worked very well. But what is around me? For example, I get some money usually from my work, and all the money I should get from last year, all the money I should live from is being taken away. Everything. So I have really big problems, but only on this level. Everything which has to do with government kind of things. It's a trouble without end. But within myself, it's like I don't care. But I'm going to lose my flat. But I still don't care because I'm happy. And this is why I say there is two sides of it. One side, this is my side, this is what I can change, this is where I can work, and I try to take everything with me as much as I can. I remember when I was talking here last time, Carolina said that, yes, probably you are connected to your country in a way, so you it needs elevation of the whole country. And I felt this is very right. I checked this for myself. So I'm since that time I'm trying to elevate the whole country, of course. But it's a long way still to go.
Well, it seems like a good job description. And if not you, then who? And if not now, when? So I guess that's your part-time job to elevate an entire country, which is not so impossible, I think.
Yes, I'm working on it, but you should visit our country once. I heard you once saying some month ago, "Hey, Germany is a free country," and I think you should visit me. You are invited, so you can see other sides as well. The side I'm working on.
Yes, well, Canada is a free country too. It's also one of the most expensive in the world to live in. So it depends on your definition of free, I guess.
Yes, let's do a definition. What is free? Maybe this is a good question for all of us.
Well, there was one definition I heard one time, which was freedom is the ability to do what you want to do, where you want to do it.
But what does that really mean? Mr. Keshe has brought this topic up a few weeks ago. And he tried to explain it. It was on Thursday morning that he didn't know where his phone was. And usually the first reaction is, where is my phone? I need my phone, because it's his communication and it's his connection point. And he said, you know something? I don't care where my phone is. And he just let go. So it's the overcoming of what are we detached? What are we attaching to what is? And what do we really need in reality? And I think the more you're attached to certain things, the more they become not available, until you actually let them go, and then they start appearing. It's the same with the wish. People which are concentrated on a wish with a connection of confirming or confirmation, it works the same way. It doesn't work. A few people came and explained, when I concentrate, it doesn't happen. And then I just think about it and I let it go and it appears. It's the same with the reality of all what is in our physical appearance. What do we really need? And with what are we really happy or content? And if we trust and let go, no matter how ugly it looks, I think our soul will put us, or is already putting us on the path. Because maybe it's something we need to understand through being a knowledge seeker and through applying all the knowledge which we gathered each individual. What do we really attach ourselves to? And what do we really not let go? I give you maybe an example. I said to Mehran, I said, you know something, what is very strange? I said, we are all constant on the move. I said, and you know what is funny? That every time I move somewhere, my things which I don't need are with me, and the things I need are not with me because of change of location or change of environment. I go to a hot place, But first it was cold, so I carry majority of warm clothes. Then I go to a more tropical place where I need a different kind of certain things to protect regarding food or water, or at least stay safe that I don't go sick. And it's always somewhere else. And I said, you know something, Mira? I don't care. I don't care anymore because I just let go of this organized, always traveling with what we need at the point where we need, because it's impossible. Because we change so many times from direction, it just happens this way. Meaning I had to come to understand, because it was like an attachment, although it is to make sure my family, which I carry with me, is comfortable and they have everything they need. And I'm always worried, you know, like a mother does. Do I have this? Do I have that? Do I carry this? Do I have this? But I learned in the process, it doesn't matter. I carry what I have. It's okay. If I don't have, I won't need it. And it has brought me a lot of peace. And Mehran turned around last week. He says, you're becoming like me. I don't care what is where anymore because it's impossible. And I see him less and less getting worried about what is where and where. It's just like I learned the same process. We just don't care anymore because we just let go. So each of us and each individual from us have to think, what are we holding on to? What is the reality and what can be there in place of all those worries? Because they're weighing you down, all those worries. So I try to explain them, you know, all the worries you can't solve, just take a key out of your pocket, close the door and say, I will come back when I can solve that problem. But you make that promise that you're going to go back to that key and that door with the key to open it up when the time is right. And I closed a lot of doors of worries. So in that kind of process, what I'm trying to explain is you become a lot lighter because you don't need to carry it anymore. And you create so much peace within yourself that those are all topics and things you don't need to worry about. It will solve and sort itself out. And it does. So maybe for you, I think it's Jean-Jacques, I think maybe there is an explanation in your journey too. Maybe you got to look at the point from what is your country and not try to change them, but accept them the way they are. And it's not easy because in that way you also give them their freedom to be who they are and what they want to be and how they want to be. I explained it last time. You're not responsible for nobody else. You're only responsible for your own conduct and how you position yourself in it. And maybe you want to take too much responsibility for a whole country. And maybe if you're just peaceful with all of them, maybe that will be the changing point. Because your gift is there, but you cannot force it upon. Mr. Keshe explained, you can give, but they have also the freedom to receive or to refuse. And that's their freedom. And if it's from your point of view available for them, when they're ready, they will take it up. So I think a lot of people might rethink certain things because they think it might be good, but maybe it's not good. If something doesn't move smooth, it means your soul is trying to indicate you might maybe take a different path or a different approach or a different analyzing what is really going on. It's right in front of you, but did you understand how to look at it? I try to explain it. I don't know where anymore, but I can give you an example. And I'm going to give you an example all of you have noticed so that I can maybe get it across. Before President about to announce his point with the agreement of Iran, you could see when they were announcing it, they were talking that they didn't know the position. But underneath in the writing of the letters was appearing already the doubt that he might not go with it. So what I'm trying to explain is if you don't think about something and you have not already created a position, then it cannot appear anywhere. It cannot appear in typing letters, although it's put in a way, assuming or thinking, either way you want to put it. But the form of the text which was going underneath was indicating that that decision was already made, because otherwise it cannot appear like this. Meaning the reality is already there in front of you. I use always a phrase, people always tell you what they're going to do with you, but now finally I can explain. If you would have asked me this a few months ago or a few years ago, I could not explain it. I tried to, but it was like it was not there. I knew how it was working, but I couldn't bring it under words. But now I can explain it fully. Mean if you haven't taught and spoken, although it happens behind closed doors, it can never appear in matter state, because appearing means in matter state. So the indicators are there, so they are already telling you what they're going to do with you or with what is going on. So you can, as a knowledge seeker, never be fooled about what is really going on in the reality, because if you read it, you got to stand back and say, what does this mean? It means that's already a decision that has been made. So before it even comes into public or it's going to be carried out, it means the decision in thinking has already created for it to appear in the matter state. That's why if you follow certain things, the answer is right in front of you. You don't even need to doubt about it. You just need to use your logic. That's what has been decided. That's why this wording is appearing like this. Otherwise, nothing would appear at all. That's why with false flags, the information appears in different parts, and then it appears later where the crisis has been deployed. So the information is right in front of you. It's just a matter of observing and analyzing the understanding through the path of the soul. If you haven't thought about it, it cannot appear in matter state. Matter state means in publication, speech, writing, or memos, whatever you call it. Because you can't materialize something which has not been fully thought out. That's why I always used to use the phrase, they tell you what they're going to do with you, meaning now I can fully explain. Because if I haven't thought about something, I cannot speak and I cannot write about it because it simply does not exist in my head. It means I haven't created it. I haven't created the decision. I haven't created the idea. I haven't created it, anything. Maybe that might help a lot of knowledge seekers in their path of understanding what is the reality in front of you, instead of guessworking. Now you got the tools of the understanding why certain things appear in a movie, in news, in publications, in documentaries. It's there. Because as a knowledge seeker, if you work from the soul, if it hasn't been created in the thought, it cannot manifest itself in a matter state. And that should give you always a head start for what is about to come. And if you are calm as a knowledge seeker and you work through your soul, you can even give from your soul that whatever is appearing, whatever they have worked on, can go into a field strength which you give to for the truth or the benefit of so many souls in their benefit, that it can change the path. Because that's the gift you have. Anybody or anybody?
May I answer this?
Yes.
When I changed myself during the last months, I found things I had to let go. For example, I was a perfectionist guy. Today I went to my orchard and took my very old car with me, and it was rusty. And then I did, within a very short time, I put new color on it and cleaned it before, but not the way I would have done years ago. I would not have finished without taking days for it. And now it's finished within 2 hours. So it changed a lot, and I like it very much. And I found that what you just taught us is absolutely right. And I'm working like this now. I did not do so before, but now I do. Are we finished with freedom? Talking about freedom? Or can we continue? Because I always have to think of Solzhenitsyn. Maybe you know him. He wrote from prison in Russia that he never felt so free as when he was imprisoned there. And I think, although I don't like Solzhenitsyn, what he's writing otherwise, but this is very special to me because he can show us, and this is what I feel has to do with freedom. Freedom is simply what I decide, what I want to create or to do and to be. And it is not dependent on circumstances. It's simply within myself, being free. It does not mean I can choose, I want red or blue trousers, you know? So this is what I want to add there.
Yes, because you say you're a perfectionist, but then you have to go into a deeper, why is the perfectionism there? Is it because of the way you have been brought up, or is it, what is the meaning of being perfectionist?
To me, it is making something as beautiful as I can. I love to be, but I've put it away. I'm not like this any longer because I see it doesn't fit into the world where I live. So I just do what is possible in this moment. I concentrate on being in the moment where I am instead of thinking of the future and it would be the best, so I do the best. I stopped doing that.
Yeah, because as Mr. Keshe explained, it depends how, through what window you look for you to receive the confirmation I exist. As he tried to explain that certain people are very beautiful, but in reality, what creates that beauty? That point of attraction to receive more, which means they need more. Then you have the opposite the same way. So it all depends how you individual position yourself in the need of receiving or giving. And detachment comes to the point of understanding, what do I really need and what can I let go? And if I let go of everything, I'm still existing and I'm still free, or do I create that freedom that I feel good? And that's a very peaceful place to be. And I think we all understand when that gentleman wrote that note, I could be no more free than being in a cell, because all the responsibilities are taken away from you. You only exist, you shower, you go to toilet, you have your food, maybe you do chores, maybe you go to meetings, but most of the time you spend the time with yourself.
But it's not that's one of the things that more important to do things where you feel happy because you are creating or you're doing things that they are helping others, and you feel somehow you find happiness in simple things instead to be thinking and you got a new car, or I mean, I think it's, you really feel really good when you, like on all these projects that the people are doing, they're so happy when they tell the project. And I mean, I even felt happy when I did my first gangs. So I think doing things that you want to do it with you know, when you're doing it from your soul, you do it perfect. That's what I would like to add to what this gentleman said. When you do any project happy, connected, it's like perfection is coming, and you don't realize it's so beautiful until the end. Oh my God, looks good. And I think that's the beauty about working from this new position, is you find a different space. It's more peaceful. It's very, you get your feedback by, accomplishing little things, and they look good. So anyway.
Yes, it's my soul. I was looking very much to hear from my soul before, and I couldn't hear it. I could talk to it, but I couldn't hear it, and now I can hear it. And this is because of living in the moment. Perfectionism was for me when I was developing software. I can do that. Then you try not to make it somehow work, but to make it work the best way you can. And it takes a lot of time to do so. And then you get the software smaller and better and smaller and better, and you cannot stop in a way. This is a kind of perfectionism. And I don't care what car I have. I have a 23-year-old, very old car, and it still works, but it has to go. In Germany, we have a institution where you have to go every 2 years to check your car. I should go there now, but I can't pay. So I just like it because I found this connection to my soul. This is why I am happy, and I don't care in a way. I just try to do the best I can, because sitting around does not help at all, and I don't have to. I can work, I can do things, so I do. It's just, well, let's see what we can do. Huh? And yes, I'm happy.
Thank you for sharing. Anybody having any ideas more into public platform, what we achieved with the blueprint of world peace?
Caroline, I believe we have achieved peace thus far. So how about affirming the work of Mr. Keshe about peace, so that in future now, we're looking into the future, so that that peace that we have achieved thus far holds forever. So could we make a wish to that effect?
What are you referring to of what has been achieved on peace so far?
Well, there has been peace. The Third World War has not broken out, even though many have tried to begin it. So um, the peace between Iran and 5+1 has held for quite some time now. So could we make a wish that that continues to hold, even despite the fact that one of the signatories have removed his country? It's still holding that far. Other countries still maintain that they will still support it. So could we make a wish that Mr. Keshe's work in terms of peace in the world holds true, and that wars do not break out anytime in the future. Thank you.
I think the wish should be, as I send out as a note, the agreement is still standing. Nothing has changed. What did President Trump signed in public? What is the title of that kind of document? It has to go to where? Nobody knows.
It has to go to Congress.
Has to go to Congress. Yes, that's what I was going to say. And what is it called?
Exactly. Because do you know the implication of it has to go to Congress? Can somebody explain, please?
I believe the Congress signed on behalf of the people of the US and not the president. The president did not sign. So the government, the people themselves, who are represented in the Congress, signed on behalf of their country. So that returning it back there means he doesn't have power to end it as it is. Except only Congress can do that. Thank you.
We have received no information, the point of Congress. So that means that the deal, the agreement is still fully intact. And I think the wish should be, because it's not only regarding the United States, this agreement covers so many countries. Remember when Mr. Keshe explained recently again that the peace, the agreement between Iran got established because he revealed that nobody wants to lose so many jobs, so many contracts, which means so many people that can put bread on the table. Work means an income. An income means you can pay your bills, you can get your children to school, the comfort for the families are created. And it's not 1,000 jobs. It is 100,000s of jobs that have been created through this agreement. Who will refuse this kind of an agreement when everybody's short of jobs and income? It's creating wealth for so many, or comfort, or peace. I think the wish should be created that that agreement stands for the comfort and the peace for so many souls, because it's global. People are working with Iran. It's not one country. But has also anybody realized when you create this kind of instability that people get the implication that this deal is gone and this is gone and this and that? What does it create on the other hand? Can somebody explain, please?
Could you make your question clear? Are you asking when, excuse me, when we doubt, what does it create, or
Yeah,
when we don't doubt?
yeah.
That creates energy, the negative energy, which we don't want to create. So we want to affirm that peace holds, even the agreement still holds.
Because you said something very interesting, Dr. Guatwa. Can you repeat what everybody was expecting to happen and it hasn't happened?
I didn't say that everybody was expecting to happen, but I'm saying if we expect that the peace agreement falls apart,
No,
that
before that, before that.
before that, I said that Mr. Kesh has organized uh, many meetings for peace, many things for peace. He has called for peace throughout the world. He has given technology in exchange for peace. So, should we not affirm that peace so that it continues? And specifically, the P5+1 agreement with Iran has not fallen apart because only one person has tried to pull it out or to pull out his country, but he doesn't have the power. The power rests with the Congress to do that. So the signed letter that he gave went to the Congress, which has noted that the deal is gone. So the deal still stands today. The five other
Yes,
members who signed agrees
yes,
that they are going to support the deal.
yes. But you said, you mentioned something that everybody was expecting. What was everybody expecting? A
Peace?
third, a third world war?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. That world war has been, uh, many countries, I mean, some leaders have wanted to start the Third World War, but it has not started so far. So peace has held. What Mr. Kesh has wished for the world has held thus far. That's what I said. Because the Third World War has not started, despite attempts by some countries to do exactly that. Thank you.
Yep, that's a beautiful wish. It's just a matter how we're going to put it together.
We start with one sentence and then build on it. That's what we have done usually.
But the funny thing is that not many people know or stood still with the reality that the deal, the agreement never changed. And still a lot of people are on the move. And it's that what is on the move that we have to support in their strength. So you can start, Dr. Gadwa.
Thank you very much, Carolina. We wish that Mr. Keshe's work towards global peace is achieved forever, and that the whole world will end all wars. All wars will never be repeated again. I need some help. That war will never again be visited upon earth.
I need to, I just read something here about Rick Newcomb. It would have to go to Congress. However, in this case, Congress never signed the agreement. President Obama did. Not really. Not really. Because he was not at the table of signing. It's between governments it has been signed. It's the government that signed, not Obama in his personal name. And this is something
In fact,
a lot.
I believe the U.S. Kerry was representing.
Yeah, they are presenting not President Obama, but United States. That's why he has to hand it into Congress. That's why when he says he signed the degree, so he has to hand it to who? To Obama? No. So if it was signed by Obama as a president, then he would have signed the agreement to be completely destroyed. That's where people don't understand. He signed the degree to go into Congress. So it has to go to Congress because it's United States in its totality that has signed the agreement. President Obama did not sign this deal or agreement. It was on...
Peggy mentions that executive orders are signed by presidents and they do not need the Congress to approve. So I wonder if it might have been an executive order, or was it a total U.S. government issued agreement? like that's the way President Trump gets around Congress is by these executive orders.
No, he cannot. A president doesn't have the power of signature. It always has to go because he represents the country.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Hi, Joran here.
You sound very, very far away. You're back at the pit of the bottom of the pit.
Yes, wait. I'm coming back.
So now?
Better.
Okay.
You're alive.
I crawl back. Don't forget one thing. This play, it's not from yesterday. This play from far, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. He offered them $7 trillion. From where he get it? Because what we know, this agreement bring jobs for millions. So if you want to cancel this agreement, you need to bring money instead of this to the country. So think from where he gets this money. Which one gave him and offered him this money and still offering much more? So go to the boss. It's not puzzle. We already know that. As you said, it's already decided before. It's not from yesterday. But it's about us, we, the knowledge seekers, to bring this peace in one piece. So this is a test for us. Everything happened for a purpose. We need to unite in our thinking, in our feeling, in our wishing also, in our desire, because it is the benefit of all, of the one. We will see. We will bring peace to this earth. There is no doubt in that.
This is Marie. Shouldn't we focus on the end result, that the people will live in peace and prosperity, and not focus that much on how to get there? That's what I'm thinking. Do we need to look into that agreement?
It's not, Marie, it's not to look into it, the agreement, but let's say, pardon, it's all about, I'm going to give you a view, maybe you will understand. If by the wording of President Trump, the way he showed his signature, for a lot of people, because they don't know, they don't understand, their feeling is it's broken. So the hope of what was about to come when it would stand is so positive, because it will bring jobs and it will bring prosperity. So if by signature and behavior and speech and talk can shatter so many people's dreams and expectation, what do you create? You create a fear-mongering energy that depletes so many people worldwide. Whoever was informed that they will have jobs, maybe the contracts have already been assigned, people have already received job applications to go in to do the job. Yeah? So just read the time and the period and the text of the content, how it shakes and shivers people not being sure anymore that they will have that job, that they will be able to provide for their families, that their companies will be able to provide so many jobs for their employees and expand on what they created with that deal. That's why you need to take the time to explain to people nothing has changed. That this wish is coming up to create that stability. It's not undone. It cannot be undone. And this is the field strength I just brought up as a Keshe family to stabilize, to give the people the certainty that it's still standing. Nothing is lost. So when there is nothing lost, you don't need to fear. You just go and you carry on and it stays positive. But if you don't inform people what really is going on, then you don't understand the gravity of the change of the field strength of the damage. Because there is a big difference if you're going to get the job or you're not going to get the job. You're going to be able to pay your bills or you're not going to be able to pay the bills, because we are still working in the today reality. What we do as a Keshe Foundation, as Jalal just brought and Dr. Gatwa just brought, in the understanding is, and what I'm trying to add to it is, the field strength is there, our wish is there, but it needs to be understood why that wish is there. That means to remove the fear that it's all lost. They're all panicking, they're all running. Why? When we keep the agreement in place that creates so many jobs, so many certainty, so many people that can go to sleep and say, I will have my job at the end of the month or next month, or I will be able to pay my bills from now on because I got the job, makes a big difference. Why you have to go into the depth, because even Rick just, I don't know his last name, said he thought Obama signed. No. The representatives of the United States were present. United States has signed the agreement. Then okay, Obama seals with his signature the thing, but it is the people of the United States, is the people of the UK, is the people of so many, 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 many countries who have signed the agreement. Not the king and not just the prime minister. It's the whole country which has agreed on this agreement. And this, not knowing who's responsible and who has signed in reality, makes that difference. Because one can shout and shake so many is not normal, is it? So we have to take, because we know can work through the soul, we have to take that shaken out of the proportion for the information to be there, for people to understand nothing has changed. And that makes that difference. To take the fear, which they always play with people's mind and feelings and emotions, and the peace just to be able to have a job or to be able to respect their contract and their agreements. If you put that on a shaky floor, then they will retrieve or they will sit and wait, but they won't carry on in the certainty nothing has changed. Because the fear part changes people. And we as the Keshe family are working today to make sure we take the fear out, because we create a totally different field strength. But you can only do that if you're 100% sure what you're wishing for, how you're wishing for, and how to remove what should not be there, because it isn't there. The agreement is still standing. Nothing has changed. And we have to increase that field strength for it to show, because then people can pick up your field strength and feel the calmness through their soul. Because it's the physicality which is panicking, that they can't feed their family, or they can't meet their promises which they made because of these agreements. That's the fear we have to take out. Do you agree?
Yes, I do agree. But I was thinking maybe we could work straight with the fear of losing, that we could elevate the emotion of losing, and not so much focus on how to get rid of that fear. But I listened to what you said, Carolina, and it makes sense.
Can I remind you something?
Yes,
that
please.
Sometimes we forget until someone brings us out. Don't forget Tom Salas. Don't forget it ever. With the hurricane, what brought and what Tom done with the little bit of ganses. He done so much huge shelter to protect. The same thing. Your wish is more powerful from these ganses millions of times. Only you need to not believe, to be sure. That's all. It's what you wished is the right thing. And then you will not have fear. And whatever it happened, you must trust that what's happening is happening for a purpose. And you done your part. I think. So it must be.
Yes, thank you for the answer and explanation, Jallan.
Carolina.
Yes.
Hello, it's Peggy. Also, my nickname Violet, for those who aren't aware. I just put into chat, and I would just like to read this because I remember the 70s and the trauma of the problems that Iran and the USA had, and I felt them deeply. As an American, my heart just cried for so many days over and over. And I would just like to read what I put in the chat, please. The peace between the USA and Iran that has been in recent years will continue with our peoples, as it is our wish, my wish, that we never return to the level of distrust of each other that we had been in the 1970s and 80s. This is my wish, and my wish is my command. We will never feel the sadness that I had during those times. Nor shall the children of these peoples ever feel the sadness I had. We are one people. From this now moment, it is so, so be it. Thank you, Carolina.
You're welcome. We work on a platform to bring solutions. We bring through or a wish or a different solution. We all know that working through the soul, we achieve much faster. We go over the hurdles of the physicality, and we know that souls are on the move because it's an emotional state that then the physicality reacts. So if we can keep so many people which are involved, willing or unwilling, connected or not connected, direct or indirect, with this peace agreement with Iran, but it's understood that we as a Keshe family are working by creating this wish to keep that stability, that there cannot be a window created of opportunity to go in a different direction. And funny enough, Dr. Gatwa brought it on the table. We have seen numerous attempts of creating disturbance, but the people are not responding. Through refugees, through moving refugees, by poking refugees, by creating the most inhumane situations for certain refugees. But we have kept everything so far, by our view, stable. Gatwa brought a very strange topic on the table. I tried for him to bring it back. World War. How do you create that kind of condition? And how can you prevent it? This is as equally important to understand the same importance why we have to understand the agreement between and with Iran. Because you got to overview what have they been trying to do for years, creating constant instability. 5 countries have gone through war. So, if it didn't work there, they're trying somewhere else. What was the biggest agreement on the table worldwide and is the biggest topic everywhere at this given moment? This agreement. So, if we understand what is really going on, that they are creating that disturbance to create a window of opportunity to go where? Dr. Gatwa brought it on the table, Third World War. I don't think nobody can even imagine to go in that kind of situation. That's why I brought the Blueprint Peace Treaty today again on the table. And it's going to be there for quite a long time to understand, to close the opportunities. We don't give them no window of opportunity to create that kind of chaos that people finally will bite in it to start it. And that's why it has to be discussed, not simply by removing this or that, but if you understand the situation, then you can come to a full conclusion, because each knowledge seeker has a grasp of the reality, what they're standing for. Mr. Keshe always says, if you don't know what you're making or the purpose for what it's going to serve, then you're a headless chicken, because you just keep on making, but you don't direct it for where it needs to serve its purpose. This is the same understanding of what is going on in reality, how significant it is to understand, because then we all can agree in working towards the platform that it can direct and receive our field strength for it to be there. Because otherwise we're going to handicap ourselves as knowledge seekers if we don't understand, or we thought there was this, or we thought there was that, or we thought it was there. No, that's why I'm giving it the time and the opportunity to go in nitty-gritty of understanding, because then we can bring the solution, because that's what we are all working for. At this given moment, we are all adding our understanding of our field strength for it to serve its purpose. And the purpose maybe now might be very clear for a lot. The Iran agreement stands for that window of opportunity that cannot be created because it doesn't, because the Keshe family is there. We close all the gaps because we understand and we work towards it in our full understanding of our field strength for what to shine. Not for that every single individual gonna get their job contract and their paycheck on the table. Because if you can keep so many people relaxed and comfort, then that fear window cannot come into existence. And they're working very hard on it to open that gate. What happened yesterday was not acceptable. And why stand still? It falls one after another. If we don't understand, we cannot work towards the direction where we want our field strength to be. So we need to close all the gaps. Our field strength has to be so beautiful, but also in the full understanding for what purpose it will serve. Because if you make something to shine and to stand out in its beauty for what it serves so many, in its full truth, then we can deal with the truth. And it's much easier to create your field strength to something you understand than what we call a half-cooked job we don't understand. And if this wish will be created today, it will be so powerful and it will be so beauty, because it will receive all your gifts of giving. Because you're going to serve so many, but you are also going to close the window of opportunity to go in that state of World War III. And don't think that it's not able to get there. So if you know, you work towards, as Mr. Keshe says, you need to know what you're going to serve it for. And that comes from the understanding why it all gets explained. So that you can be there in the full understanding and the full going for what. And it is Mr. Keshe's wish. And this is where Gatwa got it right. And Jalal, and he said, we have come so far, we have changed so much, we have established so much, all of us, not one, all of us. And we are maturing so fast in understanding and through the knowledge we have received from Mr. Keshe that we can do it. If, as Gatwa said, Tom Salas can do it with so little, you can imagine what we can create. There's so much more, many. But we needed the direction for us to work in. If anybody has any more questions or has any doubts or has good advice, please share with us so that we can create the most beautiful wish. Because that wish will carry your field.
I have posted a paragraph that we can work on to perfect that wish.
Okay.
And it was Jalal who talked about Tom Salas. Thank you. So I hope that's a good beginning. We can then edit this to make it a perfect wish.
Can you read it, please?
We wish to give from our souls to affirm Mr. Keshe's achievement of global peace through his initiatives of science and technology in exchange of peace, and that henceforth there shall never be any war in the world. And that is my command. My wish is my command.
Would it not be better, Dr. Gatwa, to change to affirm, but we affirm?
Oh, sure. This is just the beginning. We can change this.
It's just my beginning of putting it correct.
Perfect.
Or to make it as firm as possible.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Let's go ahead and make it our wish, not mine.
Okay, so there seems to be an issue with the last part then, the idea that we can't be affirmative in saying there should never be something, because that's a negative, basically. It's creating a don't do it scenario instead of a positive do it scenario.
Yep.
Sure, let's change it. Suggest changes.
How do we make it still have the essence of that idea, but without proclaiming there shall be never,
shall be always, you say an affirmative, shall we always be the opposite of you were trying to say?
Yeah, the world will always know peace.
Okay, that seems nice.
And if you can add without frontiers, the whole goal is to become one, that we are all in the same planet. We don't need walls, we don't need limits.
If you can change to affirm.
Perhaps, and maybe we should put that down. Go ahead, sorry.
We wish to affirm needs to be changed, Rick. It has to be we affirm or something.
Yes,
the change or the
it's not that we wish to give from our souls, but that we give from our souls.
Yep.
We give our peace as a wave that it will is the initial wave of peace starting in this location. There will be this conflict, and that will be like a wave that is spread limitless, reaching every corner in this planet where there is unification for peace, cooperation, transparency.
Wait a minute, do you want me to write this down now? Sorry, is that what you mean?
You got to change something with the affirm, Mr. Keshe. Not to affirm, but affirm, Mr. Keshe.
Synonyms.
Because he is achieving, so that's correct. He's achieving, not achievement. Mr. Keshe is achieving global peace through his
What about reaching?
No, he is achieving global peace. Rick, if you can remove
We're not giving from our souls to affirm his achievement, but to
we are increasing his field strength.
Yeah, we're cooperating in his achievement more than affirming it. We have to.
What if we give from our souls to Mr. Keshe's achievement of world peace?
Instead of affirming it, just to...
Yeah, what if we give from our souls to Mr. Keshe achieving global peace? Global peace through his initiatives and delivering of science and knowledge. And then you have to remove in exchange of peace, because that doesn't apply anymore, because he is achieving, because we give from our souls to Mr. Keshe, achieving global peace through his initiatives and delivering of not an exchange. That has to be removed because he's already.
Is that what you mean? You take that out, the exchange.
The only last part is, what if we can add in this achievement by us adding from our souls one world, one race, one planet? Because that's the goal. What do you think?
Yes, that would be perfect. Now
Like
we
it.
have to look for a way of putting it there.
Because if you go after science and knowledge,
Science
not
and knowledge that
not
achieves.
it's not working, the world will always know. No, the world will this planet will become one nation, one planet, one race.
About this world will become, this planet's already mentioned.
What about humanity instead of the world?
Yeah. Because we are the ones he's dealing with. And not will become, but will be. Can you read it, Rick, please?
Okay, we give from our souls to Mr. Keshe achieving global peace through his initiatives and delivering of science and knowledge, and that henceforth humanity will be one nation, one planet, one race.
It looks okay for me. Anybody else?
I found a word, I don't know if it would be correctly, uphold is like support, lift upward. I just feel like we give, you know, from our soul, we lift, we are like supporting.
That's all we need to do, Rick explained last time. Give from our soul. That's simple.
Okay.
And in giving, we receive.
Be ready to receive a lot. Because the more you receive, the more you're going to have to give.
Yes, we give in order to receive, in order to give more.
Yep. That was the whole understanding. So we give from our souls to Mr. Keshe, achieving global peace through his initiatives and delivering of science and knowledge. And that henceforth, humanity will be one nation, one place, one planet, one race.
I am present.
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 I am
I
present.
am present.
Danke.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
I just got the microphone now, but I thought it's maybe better if we say humanity is be one nation and one planet, not will be. Okay, will be is in the future, or not?
Humanity is one nation, one planet, one race in harmony.
achieving oneness cannot be any greater. That will mean peace.
Do we put humanity is instead of will be?
Yeah.
What about calling it humanity forms one nation, which means it's happening right now and it will be in future and it's already on the way?
It's always working in this, in the confirmation. It needs to be done for it to appear in the matter state. What we are creating here is the field strength for it to appear everywhere. So is one nation, one planet, one race is correct.
I am present. The change format.
No, I'm present too.
And we have a number of I am present
It
statements.
would be very nice, Rick, it would be very nice. This could be copied in the chat so people can pick up this wish and start posting it on their social networks. Because this is a wish that can travel beyond. If somebody can copy it and put it here in the chat room or in the different chat rooms, that would be great, because then we can work with it. Because I cannot copy it from the screen. Wherever it can appear, that will be great. And you know what the beauty will be? That it will support Mr. Keshe. It's gone very quiet, or you're all posting out.
Don't know about all, but that's what I was doing. A couple of different places.
Mr. Keshe just received this wish. I'm actually inviting him if he can. Give me 1 second, please. Rick, can you try to invite Mr. Keshe?
Okay.
I'm trying to entice him to come in.
He already received it.
Rick, can you send the number to Telegram, please?
Yes, just doing that now.
We are not going to keep him very long because he's very tired. But it would be nice if he can join us for a short moment. At least I'm doing my best. Oh. Rick, you send it to his WeChat, yeah? Telegram. No, Telegram.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shoot. Rick, can you put the number here in the chat room? I have to copy it. I don't think he can read it where you send it.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, he got it. I'm so happy with this wish. I don't know why. I hope you can see him appearing. Yes, he is. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Good evening. Welcome.
Yes, good evening. Thank you very much for inviting me in. We are busy with, as we said, with our peace work, and in so many ways, it is not going to be an easy, but the new technology will make it much easier. And we are hoping, and we have come to understand that as I always said, the power of this technology will bring the nations into submission, as they understand they don't have any power compared to all the military technology is absolutely useless. As we talk today, we've been with people who understand this, and they welcome the change. And in a short time, hopefully a matter of days than months, we should be able to show the power of the technology in a very peaceful way, but in an effective way. And governments are not interested in anything unless they understand that what they believe in or what they use is obsolete. And as I said in the meeting today to some powerful people, that the technology will bring the change. In so many ways, we cannot talk much because the advancement of the technology is not what is seen in public. The advancement of technology is what is felt in the background by governments, and the changes which brings with it. Our time, more or less, 100% of my time spent on making sure that every structure is working towards that direction to create peace. The teaching, the one coin, the development of the technology, the application of the technology, partnership with governments to bring technology in that they can see the change. And in so many ways, to a very young foundation, we are touching every facet and asset and the knowledge and politics of the man for past thousands of years. And it's not easy to organize and run such a operation. There's a huge dedicated team and a lot of people with a beautiful soul who support it. And somehow out of nowhere things happen. So somehow a lot of good things are happening. A lot of good things are happening. And we are waiting literally every day for a better good news and another good news. And but what we forget, we have achieved a lot. We have achieved enormous amount towards world peace. Governments are not needed to support us. We need the humanity to support us. And a lot of people are supporting, are delivering so much that is unbelievable. And in so many ways, I was telling to one of our team this afternoon, we wished it, we made a move, and it just fallen out the sky right on our lap. And this is every day happening. Every day we see changes, we see developments, we see achievements, and it's just a wish. And it's amazing how the world is moving itself towards the peace because it's our wish. Where I sit, where I work, we still try to keep in touch and be part of the foundation work, but the development is beyond imagination. The progress is so advanced that even if we speak about it, people cannot believe it can be done, and it's done so fast. I was with some of the top oncologists today, and when they see the technology, they're amazed what some water can do. They're baffled by the knowledge, but they can hide behind, we need approval if we touch it. And I said, it doesn't need approval because people are doing it in their home. You as doctors will be out of job very soon. The way we are teaching and the way the teaching is progressing, it makes itself to work for itself. And we don't need to do much. And it's a very interesting position for us. It's unique. And we see respect from the scientific world and then aggression to stop because they see all the knowledge, all the work has disappeared. But at the end of it, it works towards the world peace. And it's amazing how we've done so much work as all of us, and we have put the soul into it, and our wishes are getting answered. I had so many wishes for past 10 years. So this happened. And today, one after another, I saw maybe 5 of them, one after another, just happening. And I thought, now the humanity has moved. And these are big changes for, not just for us, but for the World Peace, the world program we have. When most powerful nations ask for help and ask for advice, and you advise on the enlightenment of peace, it touches their heart, it touches their integrity, that there is another way. When you speak about bringing peace without a bullet fired, it shocks them. I've seen some of the most powerful men shaking in their chair, even today, and then they can't digest it. How can it be possible to achieve peace without any? And I told them, we rely on the technology and the mistakes of the soul of the man. The soul will bring to the position. And it's amazing what is needed, what is to be done, and what can be done by all of us. How far we can push physically, but nothing happens till the time is right. It has to be to the second, to the person, to the chair, to the table, to be right in the right position, and it just clicks. And I walked today, and I said, what's this day? It's 15th of May. Why everything is suddenly fallen so beautifully into place? Caroline knows I used to call these akadoches. These are huge gifts which we have received today. One day I explained the significance of 15th of May. It has changed a lot of things for not only world peace, but acceptance of the technology, development of the technology. And with it comes our peace. It's not me or you, it's all of us. The soul of humanity has yearning for peace. And the soul of this planet is listening and hearing it and crying for it, and is creating it. We saw before when the Americans shouted, we're going to war, and this British and the Germans ran behind it, and the French bombed it before anybody else. But everybody's refusing. Everybody's refusing even to touch Iran. And I said to the politicians, to the diplomats, to what we call leaders, that is the beauty where when we exchange knowledge for peace with the Americans on the table and they started the discussion, and then subsequent announcing that these things create so much jobs, governments are not prepared to lose jobs anymore. it's not a closed nation to what it is. I said to Caroline, says, you know, President Trump has said it's going to reverse the writing. I said he can do whatever he likes. Presidential decree has to pass by the Senate, and Iran signed agreement with the Senate, with the people of the nation. Unless the Senate reverses, and no senator is going to say, I'm going to lose jobs. And Israelis cannot bomb Iran, because if they touch, they'll be wiped out in no time. It's a lot of barking from a dog which is dead. It's just the last box, just the last noises before a body dies. We see this coming up. Because no Chinese, no Russians, no Germans, no French are responding to it. You have to understand, French is relying on heavily a lot of business. Peugeot has thousands of jobs depending on the contract with Iran, with the peace. Germans have never received so much business out of Middle East than Iran. You have to understand the country was starved for 30 years, a very rich nation, and now they're servicing, there are so much jobs. American Senate will not pass 5 million jobs to go in the ditch. We've seen the first signs of death of war. Nobody's prepared to go to war. They might find excuses to start it, but we made our point very clear. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And it will be that way. And we've seen in the very recent past, repetition now. Nations are tired of war. We've seen, I said to Caroline, there is no way. If they decide to go it alone, will be taken out so fast. We have to see. But no nation is prepared to war anymore. It's amazing when you hear the French do not support it. It's not that they want more. Syria has tired them out. It wore them out. They had a free run on Libya. They robbed the bank and they ran. And the British became rich because of it. And the French cannot, they will not. You have to understand, if any Iranian nuclear site is touched, the whole of Middle East becomes useless. And the wind of nuclear reactors, nuclear technology will wash in through Europe. It'll make a wasteland out of the Persian Gulf. They can't even export oil out of it. People don't understand. When you touch a nuclear base, the whole of assets of what they robbed from Iraq and Persian Gulf will be wiped out. Contamination is beyond. They don't dare to. There's a lot of barking because then the rest of the nations are tired with it. Iran is not in the process of developing. It's a fully developed nuclear industry technology nation base. It's our God-given right. Doesn't matter which nation we are to develop our technologies, but not to develop it to destroy the others. And I've made a point very clear with the Iranian government. Nuclear technology of Iran has to be a tool for peace, and it stays that way. And we're still negotiating, we're still trying to keep peace in another part of the world. Today I spent 3-4 hours with some of the most powerful nations trying to secure peace, which we cannot speak in open about it because it's part of the work we do. But we foresee where they are planning to cause problem, and we foresee how we can, in a way, make it obsolete. And it's happening. If we tell how much is to get done by the foundation in the background to guarantee peace around the world, it's part of little things we do, but the bigger structure, because of it, stands still and doesn't go far, because we wish all of us for peace. And I thank all of you. Every day, one soul needs to ignite the rest, and that's all we need to do. I had one of the most beautiful days of my life today, just because So many things which I wished for years, they were just there. They just turned out. They, from one meeting to another, from one position to another, it's like there. It's just the time has come to change. And I said, thank you, God, for being alive to be able to bring such a change. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing how, and I'm sure tomorrow is another day, it'll bring more gifts and prosperity for many, many people, many, many people, and many families, and many people who yearn for having a peaceful time. I have to leave. I'm committed to a meeting in sometime shortly. And I thank you all for being there. And don't put condition on a wish of peace. Just offer peace through your soul and you achieve it. Because we cross zigzag the whole of this planet. It's not just one nation or other. All of us in thousands of different countries and nations as individuals are praying for it, and our souls is changing the condition of the planet. And I see it, and it's beautiful to what's happening and what is about to happen. We can say in so many ways, we will see very soon what we promised in so many ways through knowledge and technology to make a lot of tools of war obsolete. And today I've seen so much of it that it forces nations to peace. And I thank what I call the soul of this planet and humanity, that it makes these little gifts now present. I used to receive gifts as a knowledge. Now I receive gifts as a tools for peace. It's just changed things, but it's still also beautiful to receive it and being thankful for it. And I was telling to one of our advisors just about half an hour ago that we should not become so arrogant about it, but understand we are part of it. And we can make the change that in the future is not just the Keshe Foundation, but the whole humanity has changed their position. Thank you very much. I have to leave. I was asked to come in for a short time. And I thank you for everything you are doing, from Universal Council to the Earth Council to member of the core, to knowledge seekers, and to all the supporters of the Keshe Foundation worldwide. Today was one day I explained what 15th of May meant for the foundation and for our work. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. I just got you on time. It's not a coincidence.
I just to the second. I just switched it on because I just arrived in the position. Just I had to go to another position. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome. Because I just wanted to share our wish with you, and that's how you popped up.
I love you. Bye-bye.
I love you too. Good night. When the time is right, it's there. I think we can close this platform in peace. Rick, what do you think?
Yes, I was going to suggest we're at the 3-hour mark here, and maybe that's a good time to close. There's certainly a lovely interlude with Mr. Keshe there. That was a good suggestion, Caroline.
It was a nick of a second. I was just copying the wish and I was transferring it to his post. And as I was putting it down, he says, I just arrived. I said, can you come in? He says, where? I said, there. And then I asked you, and that's how the whole thing revealed itself. Oof.
One of the signatures of when you know you're on and in time with the universe is this idea of just-in-time delivery. And but the secret is you have to remain cool, calm and collected, even though whatever it is supposed to happen is still down to the last 30 seconds, 20 seconds. It'll all happen. It's an art to remain calm under those circumstances. So because you feel pressure of something's got to happen, or something's not happening, it's supposed to happen, all this kind of thing. But the universe takes care of it when we can relax into it and have that peace inside of ourselves. Then that gets reflected immediately to the entire universe outside of ourselves. So I think that's great.
And even without asking any questions, you got the answer. What the topic was today was brought back by Mr. Keshe on the table in full explanation for all of you to understand. And that was beautiful. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, team. I think it's time to close with a peace in the heart and a wish in the mind that the soul can carry it out.
And the ending videos from Flint.
Thank you.
To add a bit.
Thank you very much, everyone, and you all have a wonderful good night.
And please post the wish out.
Thank you all for your words today, both verbal and written. And this is the end of today's One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace. And it's Tuesday, May 15th, 2018. And I believe Flint is ready to go with her videos here. Take it away, Flint.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate.
Explain more. The process of understanding is very simple. The process is, as I explained last time, I explain more in detail. We are created out of the rays within the center of the universe. In interaction and reduction in strength and division by the strength in certain strength fields, in collection of the totality of the expansion of the universe, some energies, some dynamic fields have come together. Over billions of years, these fields lead to the creation of what we call the sun. Where the plasma gathers together. The same process repeats again because the sun is the same as the energy center of the universe. Now, the heavier, the larger amount of the energy which is collected in this span of the universe, we call the sun, that irradiates out, does the same thing again. Radiates fields out, and in interaction with the itself, with the fields of itself, leads to creation of planet. In that process of the creation of planet, the same process happens again. In the interaction of the fields of the earth with its environment and cooling and exchange with the strength of the other things in the environment of the space of the solar system, leads to creation of man, cell, matter state. And that itself, in coming together and slowing down in certain ways, as we call, leads to another sun. We call the soul of the man. This is the truth about the life and creation of the man. But if the soul of the man can understand and absorb and be correct with his conduct, he can become the strength of the fields and carry the strength of the field of the planet which came to this creation. And if the soul can understand with the same process, can interact, can be correct, can absorb with itself the totality of the strength of what it needs, it shall become the sun. And then the same soul has the energy that it can absorb within the solar system, within the galaxy, shall become the center of the universe. Earth, we call it the rain, come from and goes back to. In the solar system, we call it planetary system. We come from the rays, we become the planet, and we go back to the mother. The same thing happens with the galaxies, with the solar systems, which they get absorbed back in and they chewed up back into the universe. The life, the process of existence in the universe is the same. It doesn't matter on what exchange and what extent. So, what is the man fighting for? Why do we fight for something which has come from the point of the creation, and in the process it goes back to the creation? The soul of the man, as the energy of the earth, gives the face of the man, the face of the earth, and that process is the same for the soul of the man. Our soul, in reduction in strength, in interaction with the emotion of the field of the environment, leads to manifestation of the existence of the man. But once it's completed, does it need the face? Or can it be and becomes free from it, what we call the soul of the man, be free and detached from its existence? Our soul is part of the process of the creation. The key to one question, who man shall be in the future, to be answered, As we saw the sun became the earth, and as we saw the earth became man's soul, what would be the destiny of the soul of the man now becomes free at the point of departure from physicality. Would it become the sun for creation of another life, or many lives, or correction of lives? This shall be, and this is how it happens. When you create a soul which is not correct, which is misconduct by itself cannot give, you lead to the creation of this next cycle of creation, which has started the wrong way, the wrong strength. This is one thing the man has never understood. You become the creator of another universe, another cycle. And this is what you have to judge within the structure of the soul of the man. What would I like that cycle to be? In the physical life, we create children. In the dimension of the life of the soul of the man, what that man, what that soul will create. If man has thought up to now, that's it, my end, my point, when I die is finished, there's as much fallacy that when the sun is destroyed in any shape or form, there shall be nothing left. But we know the part of the sun becomes part of the galaxy and becomes part of new life. So shall be the soul of the man. The judgment of the man has to be according to what he sees the future his soul can conduct to be. The day of judgment is for the man, not in front of the Creator. That what my soul judges to be and what shall create. Man never understood and shall never understand till can solve this dilemma within itself. The reality is very, very, very real. And that is, as we've seen, the energy of the galaxy become the sun, the energy of the sun has become the earth, and the energy of the earth has become the soul of the man. So shall be the soul of the man, which is the energy itself, another cycle of life. How can you change when you don't understand? How can you change the process of understanding if you do not understand the process of the creation? Do we need to extend the understanding of the man that what is the future he brings? We care about our children, what education they get, what they wear, how happy they'll be, where they sleep. Now the man has to be careful and consider what life shall my soul create, because those are the children of your soul. As we see, the rays of the sun has become a planet and 7 billion children of it. 7 billion unlimited, which is growing. So the soul of the man will go through the same process. How many billions and subdivisions and sub-matter state of the physicality of the man your soul shall create? Would it be the soul of wars and conflict and forever killing? Or would it be the soul of this, let's say, solar system which is peaceful? This is the truth and the reality about the soul of the man. First of all, as I said many times recently, we never understood that the soul of the man is within the structure of the man. And now that we understood, we understand on departure from the physicality of the man, the same process will carry on as it did for a star, a planet. And the soul of the man becomes another energy source, a higher order, which itself leads to the creation. It becomes the star, it becomes the center of a new cycle of creation. This is what the human race has to understand. The cycle actually starts from the point of death and not finishes at the point of death. In so many ways, if one understands, is as the dusts, specks of dust came together to make the earth in the solar system, so has the specks of the atoms has come to be the creator of man. And the essence of the creation of the specks of dust on the solar system has led to the creation of man. So shall be the fields from the soul of the man which lead to creation of another cycle of life. What kind of life man would like to have to be created by his soul? This is the day of judgment. This is what man never understood. Now you have to understand. You have no choice. Up to today you were not aware of it. From today you are aware of it. You are responsible for it. Your conduct has to be to elevate your soul. That in elevating the soul, what you become the creator of stands correct in the conduct of the citizens. We don't give a fairy tale. This is the truth about it. As you've seen, the process does not stop with one sun. The cycle carries on. It's very interesting in how humanity now knows in fact to handle the fact. It'll take decades for man to understand, and then you understand those who become the tools of war, the tools of conflict. They have less, they have nothing to start with. They have to become the dust in the solar systems of the others till the day they learn more, as they cannot create a new cycle through their own soul. This is the elevation of the soul of the man. To be part of the creation of a beautiful life for the next cycle. When you don't have it, you have to become another cell in the body of the structure of the bigger, for you to be just there that it can done when you could have been the soul of the man. They say, do not create fear. I give you the point of love for creation. If you cared about your children on this planet to have the best, your true children come out of your own soul in the coming time. How would you like to educate them? How would you like to be when you are in conflict with yourself and the cause of so much mayhem? This is the truth. And the man will take a long time to understand, as now that we understand the soul of the man is an operator for the creation of the future extent of the life of the man. Whatever is gathered by the soul at the end becomes his point of reference of his own creation, of his own dimension. But the strangest thing is, what he creates from his soul shall become the creator of the other souls. This is the beauty about the creation, and one understands it, understands no limitation.